Hola muchachos, welcome here. Today we're making a very exciting video. In today's video, we're making this cute, adorable shoe, but unfortunately not as easy. However, I have included as many details as possible without making this series last forever. So, fingers crossed, any beginner should be able to make it. Okay, stick around and let's crochet. Begin the first part by making the sole. Start with a chain of 18. Once that is done, go ahead and chain 3 more to make your first double crochet. Next, make an increase in the 4th chain, which is at the same time the 18th chain. Make 16 double crochets, 1 double crochet in every chain until you reach the last one. PS, since every row's instructions are quite long, I have used those abbreviations, and if you are not familiar with them, go ahead and check the description box for more info. Once you reach the last chain, you will make 5 double crochets in it. Next, make another 16 double crochets, but you need to know that the first stitch after those 5 is somehow tricky, so give it some extra love and attention so you don't miss it and have to undo your work to find it. Believe me, it happens to the best of us. Lastly, make an increase in the first chain and slip stitch into the first chain of the 3 chains / the first stitch. God, those were too many chains and stitches in one sentence. Anyway, I hope that made sense. I like to make my slip stitch in both loops when I can, but you're welcome to make it in one loops only. It's a personal preference, really. Start the second row by 1 chain and then 2 increases in the next 2 stitches. Follow that by 7 single crochets. Two half double crochets and then 7 double crochets. Now make 5 double crochet increases in the next 5 stitches. Once those are over, you're going to repeat what we did before, but in reverse. Make 7 double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets, and lastly 7 singles. Next, make 2 single crochet increases and finish this row with 1 single crochet. Slip stitch in the chain and turn. Start row number 3 with a chain of 3. Now make 4 increases with double crochet. Alright, follow that with 16 doubles. Approaching the center in which I made, as you should, 10 increases, of course using some double crochets. God, I wish I could crochet this fast. Anyway, God bless editing, don't you agree? If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure to subscribe and hit the tiny bell if you like crafts projects at all. We make sewing, knitting, embroidery, and crochet projects here, and we have so much fun. Once those increases are over, go ahead and make another 16 doubles. Four more increases and 1 double crochet, and this row is over. Slip stitch in the first chain of the 3 as before and turn. The 4th row is a kind of breathe, since we only making good old single crochets all over. As before, only make single crochets, but this time with a twist, which is working via the back loop only. Keep calm and enjoy those single crochets while they last. The next 2 rows are also single crochets repeated. Needless to say, you need to make 2 pieces. I do recommend you make the 2 soles together so they have the same tension and size. So, if it skipped your notice, we're slowly moving towards the heel raise of the shoe. Once those rows are over, I slip stitch and cut the thread and pull it out. Now that the sole and the heel cover are done, I started the toe cap by folding the piece in half like so and marking the center front. A quick tip for the perfect division is to have the chain that we started with in the middle. So as a result, you will have the last stitch right, consequently mark the mid front. From here, count 14 stitches and insert your hook in the 14th. Only work in the back loops because we were going to be using the front loop later. Chain 3 and follow that with a decrease made in the back loops of the next 2 stitches. As for those loose ends, I put them parallel to my stitch line, and while working they naturally will go under the new stitches, and thus it will be hidden neatly and secured tightly. Next, make a regular 1 double crochet. By regular, I mean in both loops. Since we've divided the piece in half, once you've reached the middle, go ahead and count 14 more stitches and mark. So, as a reference, the total of stitches we're working over are 28. Continue making 1 double crochet and 1 decrease until you reach the last 3 stitches. Fast forward to those last 3, make 1 decrease and 1 double in the back loops only, same to the first 3. The second row is merely single crochets, but the twist is that we don't chain 1 in the beginning as usual. Think of this row as a break because the next one is quite the work. Alright, roll up your sleeves and get ready to work. First, chain 3 and make a decrease. Then yarn over as if to make a double crochet, but make it in the front post of the first stitch of the second decrease in the row below. Pull through 1 loop, then 2 loops, and the last 2. Get the hang of this because we will do it a couple more times. Now skip a stitch and make a decrease. If you are not familiar with the front post method, it's basically going behind the column of the double crochet as demonstrated in the video. Now yarn over and insert your hook into the front post of the second stitch of the third decrease. Skip one and a decrease. Again, into the first stitch of the fifth decrease, pull through 1, 2, and 2. Skip and decrease. The second of these 6, pull through 1 loop, and then the next 2 and the last 2. Skip a decrease. Lastly, go under the first stitch of the 8th decrease, yarn over, pull through and through. I had, as you should, 5 stitches worked in the front post. Now to finish off this row, skip and make a decrease and 1 regular double crochet. Now take a breath and make 1 row of single crochets, again without a chain. But do not get too comfy since the next row is not getting easier. Alright, gather all the attention you have left because this will be the last row of today's part and basically the hardest one of the whole thing. Start by a chain of 3 and a decrease, but this decrease is divided. One leg is done regular while the other is done in the front post of the previous one. Okay, yarn over and pull through 1 and then 2. Stop here, leaving the rest of the loops on your hook. Skip 1 stitch. From now on, what we're going to be doing is a repetition of this. Yarn over to make a decrease, first regular, then via the front post. Yarn over, pull through 1 and 2. Skip 1 and repeat. And yes, you should have a ton of loops on your hook. Once you reach the last stitch and pull through 2, go ahead and pull through all of those loops at once. Be careful to not miss any of those loops and you will have to repeat. Then chain 1, slip stitch in the closest V you see, and this part is over. I recommend you see this part once and twice and even 3 times before you make it, because if you missed one loop, you will have to repeat it again. So that is it for today's part. Stay tuned for the next part and make sure to leave me a comment of any question you have. And until next time, I'll see you next time. Bye!